Once Tiger ended up hitting the ball in the water on 15, he had three options. One was go to the drop zone. Two was keep the point of entry to the hazard between himself and the hole and go back as far as he wanted. Or you always have the option to replay the shot. So Tiger didn't like what the drop zone looked like, thought it was too wet, and went back to replay the shot, dropped it behind his divot, and knocked it in there and ended up making bogey and moving on. Well, his drop was reviewed by Augusta National, and they said that was fine. So all of that was according to the rules of golf, except that when Tiger went and spoke to the media, he said, yeah, I didn't like what it looked like in the drop zone, so I went back to replay the shot and dropped it intentionally 2 yards behind the place where I hit it and then played from there. So Tiger was kind of blending the two rules, the second and the third option, to be able to go back as far as you want or replay the shot from where you originally played it. Well, that's against the rules, obviously. So once the committee had ruled that he had done the right thing, they do have the option to change their mind. And they did that. And once they changed their mind, they called Tiger and informed him that, in fact, it was an illegal drop and he would be assessed 2 strokes. Well, he'd already signed his scorecard. So a lot of golf purists wanted him to be disqualified, saying that he signed an incorrect scorecard. But Augusta National has invoked Rule 33 and saying, look, once the committee rules, says it's okay, and you sign your scorecard, if they change their mind, they can assess a penalty and keep you in the tournament, and that's virtually what they did. So 3 things in play. What Tiger did was illegal, but not really against the spirit of the rules of golf. 2, what the Augusta National Rules Committee did, and a lot of people are screaming, well, why didn't they catch it last night? Well, part of it has to do with it was brought to their attention by people on television and the high definition age that we live in. I mean, 20 years ago, if you looked at a replay of that, you wouldn't have been able to tell whether he dropped it 2 inches or 2 feet or 2 yards behind that spot. And it wasn't until Tiger said that to the media that, in fact, he had intentionally done that it was brought to the committee's attention. So you have what happened. Then you have Augusta National and the Rules Committee. 1958, Arnold Palmer hits the ball, an embedded ball on 12. He plays a second ball and makes par. He plays an original ball and makes double bogey. He calls the Rules Committee over and tells them what happened. His playing partner, Ken Venturi, said that he didn't declare that he was going to play a second ball and consequently should be charged with a double bogey. Instead, the Rules Committee ruled in favor of Palmer. Arnold went on to win the tournament by 1 shot over Ken Venturi because of a par on number 12. 1968, perhaps the most famous rules infraction in Masters history. Roberto DiVincenzo and Bob Goalby are finished tied and going to go to a next day playoff, but instead Art Wall, DiVincenzo's playing competitor and partner, wrote down a 5 on 17 instead of a 4. DiVincenzo signed for it, and because of the rules of golf, he signed for a higher score. That score must stand. Goalby's awarded the green jacket. DiVincenzo makes the famous quote, "What a stupid I am." And third thing in play here is the rules of golf. Sometimes they're just a little too harsh and a little too hard, with so many people not playing the game because it's so hard and not understanding these kinds of rules that perhaps the USGA, Masters, Augusta National, the R&A are looking at the rules in a modern day idea. The people who made the rules of golf never imagined high definition television being able to figure out whether you were 2 inches or 2 yards behind the shot that you hit. And consequently, this ruling was made in the spirit of exactly what was going on. It was an illegal drop with no intent to defraud the field, and consequently, 2 shots, they invoked the right rules, and they've moved on. It was the right thing to do. A lot of people won't be happy, and because it was Tiger, a lot of people think, well, they just made a special rule for him, and that's not the case. Certainly, the fact that it was Tiger did bring it to a much larger stage, no question.